And welcome back once again, everybody. Jim Crane with you on this beautiful sunny day here in California. Today we're going to take a look at this beautiful piece. This is the latest design from Beran Leather. You probably remember Beran. He is the opera singer who has performed around the world. And when he is not performing, in his off time, he is in his leather studio in Ankara, Turkey, designing and building these beautiful pieces. I've reviewed a couple of his pieces before, which you can view on the channel. But we're going to go over this beautiful stunner today and go through how it's built, the dimensions, take a look at the inside, and make sure that we cover all aspects of this beautiful bag. So first of all, it's called the Barrister's Brief or Pilot Bag. So and you can see how it's built. It's built kind of like a traditional flight bag. Or even a lawyer's briefcase, and it has the capacity to handle all of those things as well as others. You may be a sales professional, you may be in pharmaceutical sales or maybe medical equipment sales or some other kind of product that you carry samples with you. You carry documentation, brochures, those kinds of things. There's plenty of room in this beautiful bag for that. If you're a pilot and you still prefer using paper manuals versus digital, your JEPS binders will fit in here with plenty of room for your other things, your thermos, other things that you carry throughout your day. You might be an attorney or a lawyer. There's plenty of room for legal size documents, plenty of cargo capacity for folders, binders, laptops, those kinds of things that you carry throughout the courthouse. Or you might be an educator or a professor and you carry all of your items across campus or from room to room. This is a perfect bag for you. It's really quite a stunner. When I pulled this out of the box, it just kind of almost takes your breath away. It's just so beautiful. The leather is absolutely stunning. Let's go ahead and start with that. The leather is from the Sapitsi tannery, which is the tannery that is based in Turkey where Beran lives. They do have a presence in North America, so there will be a link below. You can go ahead and order, if you like this leather, you can go ahead and order it from their North American presence, Canada, USA, and go through all of their different leathers that they create and order something for yourself if you prefer. This beautiful leather is a vegetable tanned leather. It's about 5 to 6 ounce, and it is a natural surface leather. There are no pigments applied or sprayed on. There are no vinyls or chemicals that are used to treat this leather. It is just the natural first surface of the leather that you see. So you're going to see all of the little wrinkles or striations. You might see some little range marks on the leather, but that just gives you a lot of character to the bag. It just makes the bag beautiful. And if you've seen my other videos, you know that's what I prefer. I prefer a bag, if it's going to be a leather bag, I prefer it to look like leather and not like some slick vinyl, which a lot of manufacturers still produce those kind of slick, smooth vinyl surfaced leather bags that are sold as genuine leather but aren't going to wear like genuine leather. But this bag certainly will. This particular kind of leather, because there are no pigments applied to the surface, it's going to begin to patina and show its age pretty rapidly. So if you were to purchase this and put all of your supplies in it and start carrying it on a daily basis, by the end of the first month, you're going to see quite a bit of character beginning to develop. After 6 months, the bag is going to be identified only by what you have done with it, how you have worked with it and carried it. It won't look like any other person's bag if they're carrying the same model. So it's going to take on all of the things that you're going to introduce to it throughout your day, in and out of cars or offices or traveling. And it's just going to take on those characteristics, and it's going to become more and more beautiful as time goes on. unlike a chrome tanned leather that as you use it, it picks up dirt, and the dirt gets into the open pores of chrome tan. Chrome tanned is not a dense leather like this. This is a very dense leather. If you rub your hand on it, you can tell that it is just very, very solid and dense, and the surface is closed. On a chrome tanned bag, generally they apply a sprayed on surface to give it the color, because chrome tanned leather, when it comes out of the tanning vat, is kind of a bluish color, and it needs to have actual pigments applied to it, because nobody would purchase the bag in that kind of pale grayish blue color. So this kind of leather is in a vat of fats and tanning liquor, and it takes on the color of those natural elements that are used in the tanning liquor. So chestnut, different kinds of botanicals, barks, other types of plants, extracts are used in the tanning liquor, and that will give it this characteristic, this color. So there are no pigments applied to it. So a chrome tanned bag is going to just kind of get dirty with use, and you can clean it, especially if the sprayed on surface is still on your chrome tanned bag. You can clean it with different cleaners to get rid of that, but eventually that surface breaks down and the dirts get impregnated into the structure of the leather, and they become very, very difficult to pull out. They just begin to add that kind of dirty, blackish color to your leather that, in my opinion, is very unattractive. So I always prefer a natural veg-tanned bag, or if it's something like a Chrome XL from Horween, which is a leather that uses a combination of chrome tanning as well as traditional vegetable tanning techniques. That type of leather has a nice firm surface, and the leather has been stuffed with all kinds of oils and greases that don't allow dirt to penetrate into the surface. But this one, as you can see, this is a natural product. It's a natural leather. There are no applied pigments to it. And this is certainly, if you're going to invest in a beautiful bag that you're going to want to represent you as you walk into a professional's office, a doctor's clinic, and you're going to want to make a statement, you're going to want something that is going to be a natural product. It's just going to last longer, it's going to be more durable, and it's going to become more beautiful with time. So first of all, the dimensions of this bag, from exterior pocket to exterior pocket, is about 20 inches. And the height of the bag, excluding the grab handle, is about 12 inches for the exterior. And the depth is about 7 inches, 6 to 7 inches, depending on how you have it filled. Beran has applied pockets to the exterior, which are typical in a flight bag. They're designed for easy access of items. Maybe you're going to have your cell phone in there. Because they're applied, the pocket is actually built on a bench, and then it is stitched onto the side of the gusset. And on this bag, this is just a single gusset bag. Okay, so instead of employing 3 different pieces of leather that are stitched together, it is a single gusset. That costs a little bit more to build it that way, but it looks nicer and is more durable. So because it's stitched on, you have not only this pocket here that will fit your field notes, it will also fit, if you have a field notes in a leather cover, it will fit in there just fine. But you also have this hidden pocket behind. And this is an iPhone 14 Pro Max or Plus, and that fits in there just fine. So if you need quick access to your phone, you've got that pocket back there. And you have 2 of them. So you've got those 4 pockets there. And on the back, you have a magazine pocket that is the entire length of the bag. So it's going to swallow up any magazine or newspaper you put in there. I don't know people who still buy newspapers, but I'm sure there are people who do. It will fit one of those mini umbrellas, but it'll also fit your Chromebook, or even if you wanted to put you have a thin laptop or an iPad, will fit in there. As you can see, this particular piece that Beran chose is really, really beautiful. It's got lots of these character lines and different striations in color. It's just really, really beautiful. He put a nice little detail here up at the top to kind of finish off that edge. And of course, he burnished this edge so it's nice and smooth and looks quite nice. The shoulder strap, if you're familiar with Beran's work, if you own one of his pieces or if you've seen my other videos, the shoulder straps that Beran uses that he makes are really quite beautiful. They're just beautifully stitched together. All of the thread that Beran uses is a polyester UV resistant thread. He does that for longevity. The bag will last literally for decades. If you've seen old bags, I've owned a few from maybe 20, 30 years ago that were using a natural thread, a cotton or a nylon, which is not UV resistant. The thread begins to deteriorate and almost disintegrates with UV exposure, and the bag starts to fall apart. But with a UV resistant thread like this, that is a nice thickness, that is not something you will need to worry about. So the hardware is absolutely gorgeous. The hardware, you can get the solid brass hardware. All the fittings would be solid brass, or you can upgrade to the optional 18 karat gold, which is what this is. And it's absolutely stunning. When you hold this in your hand, it's just beautiful. I have not seen 18 karat gold plated hardware before, but it is beautiful. I do like brass as well. This is brass underneath the gold, but the bare brass, it's going to tarnish. It's going to take on the oils from your hands and turn a kind of a brown color. It will have a brown patina to it after about a year. With the gold fittings like this, gold, of course, is tarnish resistant. It will not tarnish. It is not affected by the oils on your hand. And so it's going to hold this beautiful luster literally for years and years. So if you want to upgrade to the optional 18 karat gold, you can do that. It's just really quite lovely, beautiful. The rivets that Beran has used are brass rivets as opposed to copper in this case. Brass is composed of about 10% copper and then zinc and a few other elements. Brass is a little bit harder than copper, but it makes a very, very strong bond when you use a brass rivet. It's actually a little bit stronger than copper, but it's a little harder than copper. Copper is a little bit more malleable, but it's quite nice. It's beautiful. I do like the way he's attached the grab handle. The grab handle is 3 pieces of leather that Beran has stitched together and then attached to the bag in this fashion. And the nice thing about that is because the bag is a large capacity bag, you can put 20 or 30 pounds in here. And when you lift it up, the weight is going to be lifted from the corners of the bag up into the handle. And that's going to even out the weight distribution when you pick this bag up. That's going to make it the bag less prone to turning on you, and it holds the weight quite nicely. I had about 25 pounds in here yesterday and carried them around, and as you pick it up, you can feel how solid and secure this type of design is. The shoulder pad is 2 pieces of the beautiful Sapizzi leather that have been stitched together And on this side, there's a lot more grip to hold onto your jacket or shoulder. And then the rest of the strap is 2 pieces of this leather that have been stitched together. Okay, so let's go ahead and get around to the front side of the bag. Okay, we've got, again, the 18 karat gold plated buckles here. And I've noticed on this bag that Beran used the kind of off-white stitching, which is a contrast to the color of the leather. But here on the closing straps, he used a matching leather. And I think he has done that to give the bag maybe a little bit more of a formal or elegant look. You could probably request this to be the contrasting stitching as well if that's something you prefer. To get into it, we'll go ahead and open it. There we go. And the first thing you'll notice are 2 very large capacity pockets on the front panel of the bag. So this is an iPad mini that fits in there with no problem. If you carry your e-reader with you, you're going to be traveling. This is a Kindle and it fits in there quite nicely. It's very good size. I love this design where it kind of tapers down toward the center. It's got a very nice aesthetic appeal to me rather than just being cut straight across. Beran has his name embossed there on that piece of leather that is hidden when the bag is closed, for those of you who do not like to have your logos showing. We've got a nice dual edge here up at the top. You're going to be using this bag a lot. You're going to be opening it, handling it like this to dig down to the bottom of the bag. And so Beran included a double piece of leather around that opening. Okay. So inside we've got a pocket back here, which is the full length. It's about 17.5 inches wide on the interior of the bag. And then he has an additional 3 pockets on that back pocket, stitched onto that back pocket, that are pretty good size capacity. All of these pockets that Beran has attached to the bag are gussetless pockets, so you can see there is no gusset on any of them. It's just a single piece of leather that he has stitched down, cut and stitched down at the bottom to give you that volume to it. And without the gusset, you've got less stitch runs to worry about. The bag looks less busy without all those extra gussets and stitches on it. So it's more for a formal presentation versus kind of a Western kind of presentation to it when you use the gussetless pockets. But they're good size. If you've got to use a really big wallet, you've got room in there for that. This is a field notes with a cover on it, so that fits in there really with no problem. I'll put that back in. The middle one, I've got some pens in it, and being in the healthcare field for as long as I have, I always use copper or brass pens. So if you're in sales and you're going to write out a sales order and then hand the pen to the customer, make sure it's copper or brass, because viruses and bacteria really can't live very long on copper and brass surfaces. So you're going to stay healthier that way, and you're also not going to transmit any viruses to your client, which I'm sure they will appreciate a few days after you leave the office and they don't come down with something. So when you are in sales and you travel about, it's so easy to pick up those kinds of things in your daily travels. So be safe, be careful, and you choose brass or choose copper. They last longer, they look good, and you'll stay healthier. Okay? The inside of the leather doesn't have the really ragged flesh side. It's got a firmer texture to it, and the bag is really unlined. It's just the natural leather in there, which is what I prefer. I do not like an acetate lining or a nylon lining. I just think it looks trashy. after a while, and it doesn't take long, unfortunately, for those stains and stuff to get on the acetate and the nylon. This beautiful, just raw leather like that, to me, is really quite nice. So let's go ahead and close it up. I do really think these 18 karat gold fittings are nice. You can, of course, opt for the just the bare brass or regular brass fittings. That would be just as nice. If you like that kind of aged look that brass gets, then you're going to want to opt for that anyway. So the bag's not particularly heavy. It's a large bag, but it probably weighs about 4.5 to 5 pounds. So you can load it up with quite a bit of stuff. If you're one of those people that now you're using 2 bags to get through your day, a messenger bag or briefcase, and then another bag to carry samples and things, you might be able to just use this bag, which is going to make your life a whole lot easier. So if you like to build things on your own, there's a link below to Beran's YouTube page, and he is such a nice guy. He provides instructions for you on his YouTube page. If you want to build one of his products, he'll provide basically everything you need, the visual instructions, how to build it. And I've actually seen a couple of products that people have built based on his instructions on his YouTube channel, and they are beautiful. So if you are handy, you've got a little time, you want to maybe build your own products, you've got that resource that Beran has graciously provided for everyone. So I appreciate you viewing, everyone, and if you like this bag, if you think this is something that would make your life a lot easier, go ahead and order it. It is priced beautifully. It is not an expensive bag. It is well worth the investment, and it's going to last you throughout the rest of your career if you're a student or just beginning a sales professional career. This will be the last bag that you need. So thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you again next time with another piece to review. Bye-bye.